Welcome back, everyone. Burton Ernie Talk Football with Fauria. We're at the board. Yes. And we got to go over some basic fundamentals of what Drake Maye is seeing when he walks up to the line of scrimmage.
Well, first of all, let me just, for everybody out there, this is what a diagram would look like in an NFL meeting room. Christian scenes plenty, just like this. This is the offensive formation. So you've got your 5 linemen, your tight end, 3 wide receivers. I got the quarterback here in shotgun. On defense, they're in nickel defense. So I got my 4 down linemen, 2 backers, the nickel, 2 corners, and 2 safeties.
Okay, so that's the basic formations for both. Now, as Drake Maye, calls the play, he leaves the huddle, right? Lineman gets set up. What's the first thing he should be looking for? What's the first identifier for him?
So what he's going to be going, of course, taking as much information as he can.
Right.
So have said going left to right. You want to see the safeties. How deep are they? How wide are they? Are they giving something away? For instance, if this safety is going to be coming down in coverage, well, the linebackers now, they may cheat a little bit the other way to compensate. So when he comes up, he sees the linebackers moving to his left. He can maybe think there's a safety coming down to the right.
What about the front? Okay, because the safeties is the first thing you're looking for. And then now what am I looking for as far as like danger areas for a blitz pickup?
Okay, so and I'll say the way Josh McDaniels has always liked to coach it, the quarterback you always hear the quarterback coming flashing. Mike's right.
There's the mic. There's the mic.
52.
Well,
52's the mic.
That's really directing the offensive line where they're going, and that which is going to determine what the pass protection is if it's a blitz. So if he comes up and sees, all right, he can tell that this safety's down, this safety's back in the middle. He knows his blitz is going to come from his left. He may get the protection going that way.
All right, so this is a basic cover 2 defense, correct?
Well, it's a basic nickel defense, which they can end up playing any coverage. So he'll see cover 2 when the ball is snapped.
Okay.
Before the snap, the defensive guys, they don't want to make it easy, so they may try to hide it, move around. When the ball is snapped, these players have responsibilities.
What are the responsibilities of the cover 2?
In cover 2, you'll see both safeties driving deep and a little bit wide. They want to get about 3 yards inside the numbers because they are the deep players. If a ball is thrown in the deep half part of the field, they've got to make the play. If this safety tries to hide it, and he gets caught in here, this receiver gets outside, you throw him a touchdown. The coach is not going to be real happy with that safety.
Yeah, okay, so explain to me, you got a young quarterback in his second year, still hasn't played in a full season yet.
Yep.
If you're Patrick Graham, if you're the defensive coordinator for the Raiders, who's been here, coach for the Patriots for a long period of time.
You're trying to confuse him.
Yeah, what would you do? What would be the easiest thing to do, like level 1?
Okay, well, as I say, it's pre-snap look. You can try to hide it a little bit. The big thing is when the ball is snapped, the disguise kind of ends. The players.
That's when they show their hands.
You have to go. If you're a deep half player, you got to get there. When you can pre-snap, you can try to step up a little bit, get the quarterback thinking: is he coming? Is he not coming?
Fake it till you make it.
But when the ball is snapped, you got to
get there. So the weakness of this defense for a tight end.
So
middle.
You can't
down the middle, right?
All day long.
This is where you eat. This is where you eat.
I'm
lunch,
a seam route.
right?
I'm a deep stop over the ball.
That's where you're going to really, if you're playing this, that you're going to really, your linebacker's number one responsibility is stopping that. For instance, everybody's heard of Tampa 2.
Tampa 2.
Well,
Draw the Tampa 2 up.
Tampa 2 is this middle linebacker. He is driving right there in the hole, trying to get 18, 20 yards deep.
Okay.
So that if you throw it in there, he's in a position to make the play. And let me say, they call it Tampa 2. Really, it should be Pittsburgh 2, because the guy who really started doing this was Jack Lambert.
Oh.
And the middle linebacker,
Steelers.
he's 6'5". I mean, his arms are down to his ankles. He goes up there. It's like throwing over Wilt Chamberlain. So you're not going to do it. So it's Tampa 2 because the Buccaneers really played, but the Steelers really started it with an athletic middle linebacker.
Don't tell Monty Kiffin that, who is generally credited for creating the Tampa 2 defense.
But I will say this. Coaching against the Steelers when they had Lambert, that was the first guy.
Well, that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Right.
So, look, we're getting a lot of information. We're learning.
You're educated.
Who was also there and got that defense, it was Tony Dungy. And remember, in the late 70s, Tony Dungy was a player on the Steelers. He was there with Jack Lambert.
Interesting.
Okay, so Drake Maye.
Right.
Against the Raiders, because that's who they're playing first. Josh McDaniels, who coached for the Raiders.
Yeah, that's
right.
Interesting matchup.
Right, interesting matchup right there. So they want to take advantage of the Raiders' defense. Where do we attack? Now, Josh likes to go to his slot guys.
Right, but
Pop Douglas.
But what Josh really likes is throwing the ball to the open receivers and moving.
That sounds familiar.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, like you say, Josh likes to slot. Well, when we had Randy Moss, we kind of like going outside to Randy Moss.
That makes sense.
It makes sense. But the biggest thing for the quarterback is the key is seeing both of these safeties because okay, that was cover 2. You also know if you see this safety dropping down right on the tight end and this safety going middle, that could be, cover 1, man-free safety. The biggest thing is you got to see what both of these safeties are doing.
That's the first thing you're looking at.
When that ball, you got to know what they're doing because if you don't see a safety, inevitably what's going to happen, he's going to be right where you're throwing the ball. It's going to be an interception. And he's going to say, oh, well, where did he come from?
I'm seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
I'm seeing ghosts.
But right? Right, it's a ghost, but he had a jersey on with a number on it.
Yeah.
You just didn't identify it properly.
So you mentioned numbers, right? Certain players wear certain numbers. Talk about that. You were talking about the 50s and the 60s.
Right.
Like Drake Maye knows.
And of course, and I know, Tom. This is the kind of thing that would drive Tom Brady crazy.
Is what?
Is having seeing a number 4. And, that should be a defensive back, but he's got his hand on the ground playing defensive end.
See, it used to be really easy to identify like who the Mike was. He's wearing a 50 number, right? The safeties, 30s or 40s. It was easy. The ends, you knew who the ends were. The nickels, it was easy like to identify where you should push the protection. Now it's 0 here, 2 here, 3 here, and now you really got to like. Would it be fair to say, think of it as spaces? Just think about, okay, this is a space, forget about the number, or is that too...
Well, you really, to a degree, but you really need to know who those people are.
Yeah.
Like if you see a number 4 out there, you really need to know, is that a linebacker covering the tight end, or is that a safety?
But if nobody's in this middle, and you go, all right, a space is open.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, you always, by seeing the safeties, you're always looking for voids in the defense.
All right, we got to take a break.
All right.
Don't go anywhere. We'll come back to the board. You're watching Burton Ernie Talk Football with Fauria. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Burton Ernie Talk Football with Fauria. Back here at the board with Ernie and Christian. And let me ask you this. Does the offense or defense have the advantage on the football field during a play?
I would say, realistically, the National Football League does not want games ending up 7-3. So they're going to make it they're going to give the offense a chance to throw the ball and complete passes. The illegal contact rules. So it used to be you could jam guys 12 yards downfield.
Can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore.
That changed to Bill Polian when we were playing against the Patriots playing against the Colts.
It's always a give and take, and it's okay. Then it's the officials. How tight are they going to call it? But I mean, the league does not want. They don't want
high-scoring games.
Yeah. Or relative, they don't want them 65 to 50 like they used to get in the Big 12. I mean, it's.
So we talk about Drake Maye. There's a lot of zone coverage right now. This is zone. So what would be a way for them to disguise a zone coverage and trick Drake Maye and bait him into throwing an interception? Is there some variety of coverage that you remember that you think?
So for instance, we talked a little bit about cover 2.
Yeah.
I mean, what a lot of teams in the league now are doing is you could sink your corners inside. Being the deep half players, these guys go work, safeties now working out to the flats and take your nickel back, ended up right here in the middle.
So everything's covered.
He would be the Tampa 2 Mike, except he's coming from the nickel.
So the two safeties swap with the corners?
Right, and the nickel's coming back in the middle, and that's a way that, teams are getting into that kind of coverage.
What do the backers do?
And the backers then, I mean, a lot of you hope you get your linebackers who can play pass defense,
Yeah.
which a lot of them don't. But I mean, they're basically dropping it back here, hook zone in the seam. So you end up with a 5 underneath, but the people are moving different directions.
Where do you go with the ball then? Where's the opening?
Okay, the big opening, if they do this with the corners inside, you get your outside receiver come run the 7 route. Corner route. It's incredibly difficult for them to cover when the corners are sinking.
Give me the basketball analogy.
Okay, so when Drake is going back, or any quarterback's going back, he's got 5 eligible receivers.
Right.
If the defense is in base, they're going to rush for it. They have 7 in coverage. So I got my 5 receivers against your 7 in coverage. Just think at times it's a little bit. Imagine the Celtics bringing the ball down the floor and they got 6 guys on defense. It's going to change things.
It is.
It would change things a little bit.
Got to be a smart quarterback.
Yeah.
Third step drop. You should know where you're going with the football.
Right, and this is where. So we used to go Friday practice. And as Christian knows, that's a mental day. You're not going full speed. And I did the cards for the defense. And I had a little thing going. Brady always said, "You can't fool me."
Ooh.
I've seen every card. Okay, big guy. So what I would do, if I particularly down in the red area, we'd go ahead, we'd drop a tackle in here and have 8
Can't fool me. Can't fool me. You fooled him.
Right, and all of a sudden, whoa, you catch him.
I'm going to be a fool if we don't take a break.
Yes.
We'll be back with more right after this.